Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. What's going on, everybody? It's your girl Pat the Encourager. Guys, I am here curled up on my couch. I even have my little blankie right here, guys. If you see, I'm a little stuffy. I have been not feeling well all week, guys, so I know I need to get to your videos, but I just have been sleepy, when you're not feeling too good, and doctoring myself. And so anywho, I am here today to celebrate a milestone in my life. Some people have heard my story. Like a year ago, I had did a video, a Q&A, where people could ask questions, and I told more about my story. And I truly believe that you should never allow people to make you get tired of telling your story or your testimony, because somebody needs to hear it. And y'all, please disregard that smoke alarm. It needs a battery, and they supposed to have been coming since Thursday. So please, I'm sorry for the annoyance. And so today marks 14 years for me since I had my kidney transplant. And so I was diagnosed in 1997 with lupus, with erythematosus lupus, which is an autoimmune disease which attacks your organs and your immune system and your nervous system and your brain and things of that sort. And so after having my last daughter, which she's 25 now, I thought, because I had her in my late 30s, hey, I was just dealing with, swelling. I had just had a baby. So, swelling wasn't abnormal, things of that sort. And so I ended up finding out that I had lupus, and it literally hit me like that, took me off my feet. And so I ended up being in the hospital, and a lot of things that transpire, I had to be told what happened, because, I wasn't adherent to even know what was going on. I was in so much pain. I was on so many tubes and so many medications, and it kept me sedated to keep me comfortable with the pain. And it had even got to the point where they called my family and was saying that there was nothing else that they could do. And so it ended up attacking my kidneys. And so that's how kidney disease started with me. Now, most know that kidney disease, as they call it, the silent, well, blood pressure, they call it the silent killer, because most times you don't know that you have high blood pressure, but mine wasn't that case. It was from the lupus. And so the lupus got into the kidney, and so I ended up going on dialysis, hemodialysis. I went to the center 3 days a week, and that's where they put you on a machine, and they purify your blood. They cleanse your blood from the toxins, because most times when you deal with kidney disease, you don't urine like you need to urine. And so when we urine, guys, it gets out the waste and the toxins that is in our body. And so I had got dark, real dark, of course, because of the toxins and the things that was in my body. And man, on that dialysis and then dealing with the lupus, at that time, oh boy, it was a lot. And y'all, I had 4 kids at the time, and they were younger. And so dealing with all of that, trying to run a home and, take care of children and things of that sort. And I was working at the time. I went off on maternity leave with my daughter, Hey, I didn't know I wasn't coming back to the job. And so, long story short, I'm here to celebrate that milestone. And so what I want people to realize is that no matter how long you have to wait, believe for it. Miracles still happen. Nobody said that you wouldn't have to face pain. Nobody said that you wouldn't face loss. Nobody said you wouldn't face fear and doubt. All that's a part of the miracle, and that's what I did. And I truly believe, and it's not that I believe, I know for a fact that I was on dialysis longer than I had to be, because of fear and because of doubt. So in 2 Timothy 1:7, it says, "For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind." And so I know that God wanted to give me a sound mind and peace through it. But oftentimes, change is hard for us to embrace. And I know it was the enemy who wanted me to be fearful. And that's why, we supposed to walk by faith and not by sight. Because if you look around at what you see, man, it will mess you up. And so I was on dialysis for the 7 years, and I developed bonds and relationships with different people in the place. And so, I went to 3 times a week. And so every time that I came, I'll say, well, what's so and so? Because there was just certain people you were used to seeing, and they was like, oh, they passed away. And so I would be like, wow, And so, guys, as they say, life is too short. And so there was this one lady. Her name was Mrs. Bond. She was an older lady. That was my friend, y'all. And she would love her little snacks. She would love her little candy. And so I always would bring her little penny candy. And so I was talking to her one day, guys. And so sometimes we would get bad cramps. And most times when we got bad cramps, there would be an overflow of water. Because, we had to limit our water intake when you're on dialysis. And so, we would get these cramps. So most times they would have to turn the machine down or lessen our time on the machine. So long story short, she was having a bad cramp. And then, she was moaning. So I'm calling a nurse to come. Nurse was like, okay, be right there. And I'm like, no, she needs you now. And so all of a sudden her head slumped to the side, and it was towards me, but it was on the chair. And I'm like, Miss Burns. And in my mind, I'm like, Lord, I know this ain't what I think that happened. And so the nurse ran and they closed the curtain, and next thing I know, here come the ambulance and, the techs, they working on her. I hear them working on her and things. And y'all, she passed away. And that was just it for me. I sat there and I said, I cannot believe this happened in my face. We were just talking. We were just laughing. And she passed away. And I truly know that her leaving pushed me into my miracle. It pushed me into my change. It pushed me out of fear. It caused me to fight and to go forward. And at that point, I said, that's it. I'm not meant to be here. This is literally what I said. I'm not meant to be here all this time. I've been here long enough. It's time for me to embrace what's before me. I went and I took the test. There's certain tests that you have to take. And definitely the one stress test, your heart has to be strong enough to endure the surgery. I know my surgery was at least 8 or 9 hours. And so I ended up passing everything, guys. I got on the list in February of 2008. And so they tell you when you get on the list, it can be up to 5 to 7 years. Nobody wants to hear that after you geeked up like, okay, I finally was brave enough to do this, to get on this list. But, they're letting people know, hey, there are other people in front of you, and it depends on your blood type, if a kidney comes through that match your blood type and everything. And so long story short, I got on it in February. I got a call today, April the 25th, 2008. And the lady called me by my first name. So I immediately thought that it was a joke. Somebody was playing and was telling me that it was the hospital. They had a kidney for me. And I'm like, don't play with me. Whoever want to play games today, I ain't in the mood. Literally. And I hung up the phone in her face. Guys, at that time, we had the house phones, okay? So the phone rang again. I'm like, hello? So she was like, no, Miss Watson, this is so-and-so. From the hospital, she said, we have a kidney to match for you. We need you to be here within an hour. We already have your room set up. And I started screaming. And my kids came like, what's wrong? And I told them, and I said, I don't know what to do. I immediately got nervous. I started sweating. Because at the same time, I was excited, but at the same time, God, I was like, you know what I'm saying? God worked that thing out, y'all, in 2 months. That was my miracle. So yes, that was my miracle. Listen, what you waiting on? There's somebody out there that have to make some life-threatening decisions. And because it's new to you, because of the pain, the uncertainty, the loss that you have suffered, listen, I tell my testimony all the time. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. Yes, I've endured. I've caught infections. I've caught viruses. You know what I'm saying? My immune system oftentimes, guys, I have those days where I'm tired, I'm fatigued, I don't feel like it. And when I say I don't feel like it, it's not because I don't want to. You understand what I'm saying? I've suffered with changes in my body. I had to take chemo, and I took chemo as part of before I got on dialysis. They tried to give me a chemo, which is called cytoxin, because they were hoping that that would help heal the kidney where I would have to go on dialysis. And so, guys, I used to have a head full of hair. My hair just started coming out in balls, and so my hair had to be cut like all the way down to there. And even I'm telling my testimony because I'm trying to help people. And even here under the eyes, where I have the bags up under the eyes, all these things develop, and I have the sores, and I have the scars to show for it of my testimony of what I went through. But the key thing is that I'm still here. I'm still fighting through it, and I want to tell somebody to keep fighting through it. Keep believing for your miracle. It doesn't matter how long. It doesn't matter what you see. You have to believe that God loves you enough to do it for you. Guess what? He was waiting on me. He had everything already in place, and he proved that to me when I finally went and took those tests and got on that list. Look how fast he moved. Listen, somebody's child, I believe a teenager, had passed away in a car accident, and they donated his organs, and that's how I got a second chance at life. You see what I'm trying to say? You don't know how God is going to do it. You don't know who he's going to use to do it. You don't know who it is. Oftentimes we want to be familiar, and we think it's going to be our girl, our boys that's going to do it. I'm not putting God in a box on anything, because God can use who they want. So when I come on here, guys, and I do my videos, I have a second chance at life. I have limitations. I have struggles just like you do. But now I feel that God didn't do all that for me to sit back and not to do anything, to not tell anybody, to not try to accomplish anything. I'm trying to accomplish something, and I want to push you at the same time, even in my limitations, because all the glory belongs to God. I depend on him daily for my strength, for my provision, for my healing, for my everything. And listen, my children were little. All of my children are grown. I have 6 grandchildren now. God honors our prayers. God honors our requests. On my deathbed, guys, I made a simple prayer, and I said to God, because I was in so much pain, I couldn't do no long prayer. And I said, Lord, if you allow me to live, to raise my children and my grandchildren, I prophesied into my own life, into my own future. My kids were young. They weren't old enough to have babies. Understand what I'm saying? God honored my faith. So I just stopped by to tell my testimony today, guys, that if you celebrate with me the milestone and the miracle that God has done, I thank him for it. I've never had a rejection for my kidney. I've had the same kidney for these last 14 years. And the doctor has even said themselves that it's a miracle, because there's some people that's on their 3rd kidney out of all these years. And so I'm just grateful. And so I just want to encourage somebody who may be going through the same thing. No matter how long that you have to wait, believe for your miracle. Guys, it's your girl, Pat the Encourager. I love each and every one of you. Until next time.